Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth unit, and this will be our first lecture of the fourth unit. Today we'll be studying on railway engineering, right? So today we'll just understand why a railway in India is so important, so what factors it affect, right? And also we'll say the role of Indian railways, right? So how it affects that, and features of Indian railways, what various features, why it is so important for the people as well as for the country, right? So these are the rules, right? See, you can see here, first one, it helps to integrate the fragmented markets and thereby stimulate the emergence of the market economy. So it is trying to say that in the first sentence that in every corner of the country, because our country India is a very big country, so the market is fragmented. At some part there is some unique material is being manufactured. In some parts there are some spices have been produced. So various areas of the India, parts of India produces various types of materials, goods, right? It might be agro goods, or it might be a commercial goods. It would be anything. So to get connected with the other buyers, right? If there, for an example, if we want a Kashmir shawl, right? Kashmiri shawl, which is very famous. So if there is no proper communications or railway communication is not there, what happens is the person who wants to buy this Kashmiri shawl in South India, that is in Chennai, you suppose, or in Karnataka, you can say, then he cannot get the what get those materials what you want to buy, what the products. Why only railway? Why can't we go for highway? Because we have good national highways, or you can say you can go for a highway, airports, right? Airways. So that becomes very uneconomical, right? If you consider through highways or through the airways, it becomes very uneconomical to carry such goods, right? So the economical part is the railways. So we go for goods, we go for railways, right? Next is it connects the industrial productions center with the market as well as the source of raw materials, thereby facilitates the industrial development. Uh, you might say, if you might have been heard that ISRO launched the satellite to Mars, right, in 2015 or 2016, right, the Mars. So at that time, it not only developed the ISRO did not develop all the things, all the parts. Some parts were developed in other small factories or industries, right? Small things which will become the raw materials for those major industries, right? If you could consider the automobile industry will not produce all the materials that are required in a car or in a vehicle. Some materials are being produced by small industries, and those materials, though their final products, will be used as a raw materials to the other factories. So while transporting such a huge quantity of bulk of produced raw materials to the main industries, railway helps. Right. One more thing I would like to tell you that the economy or the percentage of profit that it gets from the goods is 90%, and the percentage of profit it gets from the passengers is only 10%. So the Indian Railways depends upon the goods transportation from which it gets money, not from the passengers, right? Next is it links the agriculture production centers with the distance markets as well as the source in input, thereby promoting rapid agriculture growth. So with this we come to know where in which part of the India which products are grown, which agricultural products are grown, and depending upon that that can be distributed for a larger space and area, right? It will help the farmers to earn money, right? If the demand is more in other parts of the country, then they can sell for a higher price, so they can earn more money. So this is what helps. Uh, this is what Indian Railway helps in developing the nation, right? Next is, it provides a rapid, reliable, and most effective bulk transportations for energy sectors. For example, to move the coal from the coal fields to power plants or petroleum products to refineries to the consumption centers, right? So, as I said, bulk materials becomes very cost effective in case of transporting the raw materials, right, or any kind of material. So, if you might have seen in our cities, the petrol also comes with the train itself. The petrol that you fill to your cars or the vehicles to use day by day, that petrol comes to the train, right, from the nearest station point. So from there it is taken to the trucks or to the it is taken to the trucks and then transported to the nearby petrol stations, main petrol stations, right, where it is stored and then transport to the smaller petrol pumps, right. This is what happens. So this is how it helps in transportation, right. It links the people with the places, enabling the large scale, rapid, and low cost movements of the people across the length and breadth of the country. This fifth point becomes very important. Well, the people can move from one place to another place, which might be at very larger distance, right? If the person from south in Kanyakumari wants to go to the Kashmir, right, or want to go to the Gujarat, or want to go to the West Bengal, so the distance is very large. So if we want to go through, we try to go with the bus or by air. Obviously, air consumes less time, but money requirement is very high. So it is around 50 to 60% more money is required than what it is less, but around lot of money is required in the case of road or air transport, right? So it will be cost effective. And also in railways, what happens when time duration for moving from one place to the other, longer journey is more, you will get to know the other people's culture, right, traditions, language, and the people get familiar with the other peoples, so they get united there, right. In this process, the sixth point, in this process the Indian Railway becomes a symbol of national integrations and strategic instrument to enhance our defense preparedness. If there is any emergency conditions like flood or any war, so people from various parts of the India can be transported to the locations. The defense personnel of the armies, the weapons, the arms, and the ammunitions, right, the troops are being transported from one place to another place. How? Through the trains. If you have seen the movie Holiday, the Akshay Kumar and his army men come from the train from the Kashmir, right? And they go at the last scene, if you have seen, they go by train itself. So this is how the Indian Railways helps in transporting the peoples in the emergency conditions, transporting foods in the flood situations, transporting medical aids, water in the drought seasons, right. So whenever the bulk quantity of material or people is to be transported, or mass transportation is to be done, we opt for railways, right. Some of the general features are, the one of the feature is track. Track is also called as permanent way, is a single costliest asset of Indian Railways, right. On that only the trains run, so it becomes a costliest asset. It consists of railway sleepers, fittings, fastenings, ballast, formation. So what is all this? What is permanent way? What is track? What is rail sleepers, fittings, fastenings, ballast, and formations? That we'll see in the coming up lectures, right? As of now, till 2016, India has a length route of 66,687 kilometers of railway length is there. So that much length of track has been laid, right? And running track length is around 92 kilometers. Means At a stretch, this straight track is up to 92 kilometers. Total track range is 191 point, it is 1,19,630 total, including running track as well as the route length. Some tracks are only for emergency cases, so those tracks are also included in total track. So it is 1,19,630 kilometers, right? Next are the concrete sleepers to hold the railway track, right? Those rails, you can see if you have seen the steel rails, right? These sleepers are being laid below these rails. You might have seen the white color blocks, right, which are laid below the rails, so that are called sleepers. The concrete sleepers that are mostly precast are economical and functionally best suited for high speeds and heavy density traffic. Adequate capacity has been developed for production of the concrete sleepers to meet the present requirements of Indian Railways, and only concrete sleepers are being used for all the new renewal, new lines, and double and engaging conversations. So we are trying to double the track. If there is anywhere single track, we are trying to do it two tracks. Why it is done? Because to increase the traffic density and also for have a emergency line. If there is any problem, we can have a separate line itself, right? Then you have traction. Traction means engines. Traction nothing but it's engine of the railway train, right? It might be electrical or diesel tractions. Now we are trying to convert all the diesel tractions into the electrical tractions, and there is a goal made by Railway Ministry that by 2026 we'll be converting all the rails into electrical railway. Constitute the principal modes of traction. Traction means engine, right? On Indian railways, the traction mix has significantly changed in last 2 decades. Last 2 decades, it means 20 years. The railway has been progressively switching over from diesel to electrical tractions. Diesel and the electric locomotives have superior performance and capabilities. The electrical locomotives being more powerful, right? Due to the diesel, what has happened, diesel requires lot of money because we have to bring the crude oil from the import the oil from the other countries with a higher price, because we know the rate of the oil is very huge, and then refining it and then taking out the diesel out of it, the rate is very high, and due to that there is a pollution happening, right? The combustion that is coming from the diesel engine is more, and that doesn't happen in the electrical locomotives. Electrifications. Now what I said, they're trying to convert all the diesel locomotives into tractions into means whole track, that is converting it into electrical tractions, means we are trying to remove all the diesel engines and bring electrical engines. So for that we have to provide electrical supply to that engine continuously all along the length of the road, railway track, right? You might have seen the Mumbai local trains, they all move on the electrical tractions, right? Electrical locomotives. So on that, above there are frames through which it gets electricity, right? When we come in deep, we will talk about how it looks, how the electrical tractions are done. Okay. With the view to reduce the national dependency on importing petroleum-based energy, to enhance the energy security of the country, as well as to make railway systems more eco-friendly and modernizes, the Indian Railway has made progressive of electrifying its railway routes. So what I try to say, that is only it's trying to say here. Right? So this is all about the what roles Indian Railways plays in the development and the integration of this city people. It helps the people to bind with different caste, community, and creed. Right? There is a transfer of knowledge. Right? This also happens. It becomes very easy for bulk transport facilities right? It helps in during the emergency situations like flood, drought, and war situations. All that we saw, and we saw what are the features of railway. These are the main overall features. We are not going to. This is not about the technical aspects. We'll go in the technical aspects in the coming classes.